Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'd like to give you part two of my review of articles today, as promised. And before I go over the articles, I'd like to let you know this is for review, information, and education purposes. It's not to take credit for the intellectual property of the article. Full credit of the intellectual property of the article goes to the publisher, in which case, which is Android Headlines. And and the story by Hamid Ganji. I have that pronounced correctly. Okay, let's start with the article. The headline reads: Ex-Google CEO Eric Schmidt launches AI startup. You see that, right? Let's look at the picture that they're showing here. Copyright provided by Android Headlines, Eric Schmidt, third party. Now, back to the article here. The former head of Google, Eric Schmidt, is now in charge of an AI startup that is focused on biotech scientific community, a non-profit. Eric Schmidt has previously warned about the dangers of unregulated AI and how it could affect the 2024 election. He said AI could turn the upcoming US election into a quote mess, unquote, and its abuse can even put lives in danger. The former tech executive now wants to dive deep into AI by launching an AI science company. According to people familiar with the case, Schmidt started to hire top scientists for his new organization. Two of the most prominent scientists who joined Schmidt's startup are Samuel Rodriguez, founder of Applied Biotechnology Laboratory at the Francis Crick Institute, and Andrew White, University of Rochester professor. Andrew White also specializes in the application of artificial intelligence in chemistry. Here you see a video you can watch when you get a chance here. And it says Google to test AI life coaching. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt starts an AI science company. The name of Schmidt's startup is yet to be discovered, but it's said to be an open AI-like organization. OpenAI is a ChatGPT parent company and one of the leading companies in the AI development. It's also first started as a non-profit organization. However, it changes strategies after launching ChatGPT, accepting an over $10 billion fund from Microsoft. Schmidt will personally fund this new company, but he might still also accept investments. He's offering competitive salaries and resources to hire more top scientists. There are no further details about the goals and prospects of this company. Excuse me. In an article for MIT Technology Review, Schmidt said, with the advent of AI, science is about to become much more exciting and in some ways more unrecognizable. The former Google CEO added, the reverberations of this shift will be felt far outside the lab. They will affect us all. Excuse me. Eric Schmidt and his wife also support other AI science projects, including nonprofit AI 2050 and the AI in Science postdoctoral fellowship program. The post ex Google CEO Eric Schmidt launches AI startup appeared on Andrew Headlines. Okay, so I'm going to pose the question to you now. What do you think of the ex Google CEO Eric Schmidt launches AI startup? Is this good? Is this bad? What is your assessment and your analysis of it? You're welcome to give your opinion about it. Just keep in mind that there are a couple ground rules. Number one, no derogatory language. Number two, no threatening language. Remember that we're trying to keep this in as a constructive dialogue. The purpose is to make these articles better. That is the review of the articles better. So if you have some constructive criticism, that's okay, but nothing derogatory. Okay, we want to keep this constructive. You understand? That's the point. Let's go to our second article here. Before I read the second article, I want to let you know review of this article is for review, information, and education purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property of this article. The full credit of the intellectual property of this article goes to the publisher, which in this case is Popular Mechanics, and the story by Darren Orth. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go to the headline. An incredible new crystal can transform light into mechanical work. Okay, now let's look at the picture for a moment. You can see it. Copyright Oxygen Getty Images, and the caption reads, "Could these crystals one day replace batteries?" Here's a couple of points to remember for this article. Number one, today's mobile technology is powered by batteries that convert chemical reactions into energy. But scientists from CU Boulder successfully turned light directly into mechanical work. And the second point is to do this, research team embedded not pharmaceutical, but photomechanical crystals into polymer, which could then bend and lift when exposed to light, forming a kind of actuator or motor. Now let's continue with the article. One day, such a material could be powered by simply a laser, completely removing any need for a bulky battery or cumbersome thermal management system. This is our third point to remember from this article. Now to the article itself. Almost all forms of modern consumer technology are powered by electrochemical energy, otherwise known as batteries. Lithium-ion batteries, for example, transform chemical reactions into direct current energy, while also producing a few side effects, mainly heat. But if there is no other way to power gadgets, say lasers, that's the idea behind the idea. That's the idea behind the new research in the Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering at CU Boulder. In a new study published this month in the Journal of Nature Materials, the team led by chemical and electrical engineer professor Ryan Hayward explored ways of leveraging crystals and directly transform light into mechanical work. At scale, such a breakthrough could remove the need for bulky batteries and all thermal management that comes with it. We cut out all the middlemen to speak in and take light energy and turn it directly into mechanical deformation, Hayward said in a press statement. These photomechanical crystals are embedded in polymer materials such as a sponge with teeny holes. As the crystals grow in those holes, the durability and ability to produce energy increase tremendously when exposed to light. This causes the material to bend or lift objects, what Hayward describes as a deformation, which can mimic a mechanical motor actuator when placed under the right conditions. And the light-powered motor can be impressively powerful. In one experiment, a 0.02 milligram strip of crystal successfully lifted 20 milligrams nylon ball. Although not a massive amount, its weight that's still 10,000 times the crystal's own collective mass. This is a big improvement from the team's previous work trying to induce a photochemical reaction in crystalline solids, Because the crystals are, quote, high structural ordering, unquote, limited their flexibility, they often cracked when exposed to light, but microcrystals encased with a thermoplastic polymer resin are more capable of bending. Not only does this allow for more flexibility, but the material can also survive at least 100 cycles, studies reports. Going forward, the technology needs to be much more efficient for anyone to even begin entertaining the idea that it could usurp batteries. as the go-to mobile power source, but the new materials improve performance compared to the previous attempts is certainly exciting to see. And he said, we still have ways to go, particularly in terms of efficiency, before these materials can easily compete with existing actuators, Hayward said. But this study is an important step in the right direction and gives us a roadmap for how we might be able to get into the coming years. So that ends the article here. I will pose the question to you as usual. What do you think of this article? What do you think of an incredible new crystal can transform light into mechanical work? Do you think it's good or bad? Tell me why. What do you think? What is your analysis or assessment of this? You're welcome to give your opinion below in the comment section. Just keep in mind there are a couple ground rules. Number one, no derogatory speech. Number two, no threatening language as well. Remember that the idea is to keep this constructive, so that way we're going to add something positive to the discussion. And I am open to criticism as long as it's constructive criticism that leads to something better. Not just to criticize, but for the sake of improving upon in a constructive way. Now, let's talk about our third article here. Before I talk about the third article, I'd like to let you know I'm doing this article, a review of this article, for review, information, and education purposes. It is not to take the credit for the intellectual property. The full credit for the intellectual property goes to the publisher, in which is the Wall Street Journal, and a story by Zhou Yu Wang. If I pronounce that correctly. Okay, now to the story. First of all, what you see is a picture here. It's copyright Zhou Yu Wang, the Wall Street Journal. The caption it reads, Taiwan president requests another jump in military spending to deter China. Okay. Taipei, 1 year after pushing through the biggest increase in Taiwan's military budget in recent memory, the island democracy's outgoing president ordered another substantial jump in defense spending this week as she tries to step up deterrence against China before leaving office. As if to punctuate the significance, the unveiling of Tsai Ing-wen's latest defense budget on Thursday coincided with an announcement by China of a fresh round of live fire drills nearby. It also came hours after the U.S. State Department approved the sale of new arms packages to Taiwan. Taiwan's cabinet proposed a regular military budget of $13.9 billion for the next year, with an additional $2.97 billion special budget to cover purchases of jet fighters and other weapons. The regular budget, if approved, as expected by the legislature, would represent a 7.7% increase from last year, the second largest year-to-year jump in the past decade, trailing only last year's roughly 11.3% increase. Military spending in Taiwan was flat for years before Tsai took office in 2016, reflecting an era where the risk of conflict across the 100-mile Taiwan Strait separating the island from China was considered low. But tensions have steadily ratcheted up in recent years as Beijing intensified military activity in the strait, partially in response to warming ties between Taipei and Washington under Tsai. China's Communist Party, which never ruled Taiwan but claims it as part of China, has vowed to seize the island by force if necessary. Tsai pushed to nearly double Taiwan's military budget during her time in office. Despite some public misgivings and skepticisms about the likelihood of conflict. The year in Ukraine has helped her make her case, analysts said, by demonstrating the unprovoked invasion by an authoritarian neighbor and a real is a real possibility. Quote, to maintain peace, we must make ourselves strong first, Tsai said on Wednesday, on the outlying island of Kinmen as a ceremony marking the 65th anniversary of a battle between Mao Zedong's communist forces and Chiang Kai shek's nationalist troops. The leap in spending reflects a quote, societal recognition that Taiwan needs to transform its military, deter aggression, and defend itself, said Drew Thompson, a former Pentagon official and currently a research fellow at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy at the National University of Singapore. And here you see a picture here. Now, you'll be able, well, not picture, but the video you'll be able to see also. Even as some military analysts said that Taiwan needs to spend more given how China's military dwarfs Taiwan's forces early in March. China announced a defense budget for about $224.79 billion for 2023. That's 16 times as large as Taiwan's. With the proposed increase, Taiwan's baseline defense spending is set to account for slightly below 2% of GDP in 2024, or 2.5% including the special budget. That is well below the 3.5% of GDP that the U.S. spent last year on its military, and less than others in the region. Singapore, another island country whose military trains in Taiwan, spends 2.8% of its GDP on defense. South Korea, which like Taiwan lives next to a threatened authoritarian neighbor, spends 2.7%, also benefiting from a large U.S. military presence. Just before the unveiling of Taiwan's latest defense budget, the State Department said it approved a $500 million arms package that included infrared tracking systems for F-16 jet fighters. Taiwan's defense ministry said Thursday that the package would enhance its jet fighters' ability excuse me, to track and detect long-range targets, calling it, quote, a significant upgrade, unquote, of the island's air combat capabilities. The Taiwanese Air Force currently has more than 100 F-16s and is expected to receive a few dozen more. Wow. China's military has helped drive up Taiwan's defense costs by flying daily sorties in the airspace around the self-ruled island, prompting Taiwanese jets to scramble in response. Taiwanese media have reported that the Air Force has a large unpaid bill for jet fuel. Quote, sometimes there can be a discrepancy between actual needs and expectations. Lieutenant General Sao Chin Pin, the Air Force's Chief of Staff, said Tuesday's press conference. Sorry, I'm tongue twisted here. He said the Air Force has new Taiwan dollars $4 billion or $126 million in outstanding deferred payments as of this month, and is expected to settle by 2025. Term limits would force Tsai to step down as president in January, as she nears the end of her tenure. Excuse me. She has grown more and more vocal about the risks of China invasion and the need for Taiwan to prepare to defend itself rather than just hope others will come to the rescue. That's a good idea, I think, and just speaking for myself, I think it's a good idea because hope strategy almost never works. Now, quote, we must continue to implement defense reforms, push for defense, self-reliance, and continuously enhance our military strength and resilience, unquote. He told an audience of military leaders, war veterans, and families and descendants gathered at a luncheon in Kinmen on Wednesday. Hours after Tsai concluded her events in Kinmen, China announced a new round of two-day live fire drills off the coast of Fujian province facing Taiwan. The new drills, which started Thursday, followed Chinese patrol exercise over the weekend that Beijing was intended to express displeasure at the recent visit by the U.S. by Taiwan's Vice President Lai Ching-te, the current front-runner to succeed Tsai. Sorry. I'd like to pose a question to you as usual. What do you think of Taiwan President requests another jump in military spending to deter China? Is this a good or bad thing? What is your opinion on the matter, such as what is your analysis or assessments of it? You're welcome to give your opinion below in the comments. Just keep in mind that I have a couple ground rules, as usual. That is, first thing is that be no derogatory language in the comments, no threatening language in the comments. Remember that if you'd like to offer criticism, it needs to be constructive as to only produce something positive and nothing negative. Remember that the idea is for constructive dialogue, not deconstructive, but to add something positive to the experience of this article review. Now, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, as this is part 2 of my review of articles. I might do a part 3 today, depends on how much time I have. By the way, guys, I might be doing more about Trump, Ukraine, and other trending topics. I was actually thinking about that during lunchtime. You guys probably want to hear more about it, so I might do something today or in the coming days as it relates to that. So yes, I would like to thank you for watching the video. I do appreciate it. Please click like on the video. That way I'll be pushed through the algorithm and more people will be able to watch it, enjoy it, and benefit from being informed about the news. If you haven't already, please click subscribe. That way you'll have access to all my videos on the channel in terms of being able to watch them. And also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. As I do have, excuse me, I have a variety of content on this channel. Alright, so again, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I wish that you have a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll either talk to you later this evening or tomorrow. Take care.